All right, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the broadcast here. Here we are. Game number, well, what am I saying? This is the first game of the best of one. So the only game here. We're in now a round of, I think this is a round of 64, if I'm not mistaken here. So jumping into another match. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Z-Rock once again. Some European Open qualifier coverage coming at you for the Kiev Major. Our second qualifier of the two in total. And we have Slice and Dice. These Slice and Dice, yes, the ones that got to the semifinals yesterday and also beat Team Horde along the way, so clearly a quality team. They're going up against a team called Moriarty, which actually is kind of fun to say there. But again, I also believe they made it to day 2, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So this actually should be a pretty solid matchup here, potentially in the Open qualifier, Z-Rock.
Yeah, and unfortunately, best of one format means it's going to be a one-game decider, but it should be a good one game, and I'm very happy we get to see a Magnus.
Magnus is fun. Yes, you're talking about that earlier. And Karate Kid, always a fun name to say, too. Yeah, he played a fantastic Invoker yesterday. I do remember watching him, so I'm expecting his Magnus play is going to be on point as well as he applies that Empower to Weaver down here. And they're going in for a possible kill. This bottom lane. Will they be able to find anyone? Maybe Rubik if he goes down.
They're a little bit late here. They'll get to the rune right as it spawns. They're just looking to hijack this off here.
Yeah. And they do. Nothing that they can do about that. Now Earthspirit actually made it falling as a result. Yeah, okay. He is able to barrel roll over the ledge. Not stop there, so should be fine. And Rubik, I think, also should be fine. Yeah, he's not going to be dove on there. But
very nice roll from him here, though. Any other angle he could have gone, he would have gotten blocked. So takes the cliff way down, kind of the long path, but he did make it out safely.
All right, looking at these lineups, though, you mentioned the Magnus. I mean, really overall, this is pretty standard stuff, though, coming out. I mean, you look at Moriarty as well on their side. Very good lineup. You got the Slark carry, you got the Invoker mid, you have the Rubik Earth Spirit supports, and then, of course, the Centaur off lane. So this is just a well-rounded lineup, it feels like.
Yeah, it is. If the Slark gets pressured too hard, they could be a little bit on the struggle bus and trying to get something going in the mid game. Slark really likes to get babied to his first item. He doesn't want a lot of contest in his lane, and this is definitely a lot of contest. He's got a Witch Doctor and a Weaver both pressuring him out here. The Spirit Breaker does rotate out to get level 2. Actually looking like he's charging the Earth Spirit.
Now they're going in on a Slark meanwhile. He's going to be fine, but yet charging onto the other side of the Earth Spirit as you mentioned, and sure enough, he goes down, so... Watching Slark getting gone on, but sure enough, the first blood happens up here.
That Earth Spirit, when he starts his roll, his collision size shrinks a lot. Spirit Breaker got basically inside of his hitbox. The roll was going away from Spirit Breaker, but he managed to get in front of him just barely, stopping the roll and resulting in a first blood that was an incredibly heads-up play from Spirit Breaker.
Yeah. Even doing all the way up there is definitely a dangerous spot to be in, so good job getting the kill. No, meanwhile, push in by onto Alucard here, playing the Juggernaut, the throw in more so, and the stomp to follow, and obviously plenty of damage to assist there. So Earth Spirit coming back up. That's kind of one of the best things you can do, right? You know, you died, whatever. You have the first blood. Let's go ahead and go back somewhere else. Take advantage almost of the situation and set up a kill. Bottom lane. Oh no, he actually pounced into the bug right there. Not that it really mattered, but. He ends up going down as a massive dive. They know the supports aren't here, so that's why they felt so comfortable.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a chaotic game as both teams aggressively laning, trying to shut down the enemy team's cores. We talked about how Juggernaut's not a great hero from behind, Slark's even worse. So definitely going to be an interesting game as both teams deciding to put a ton of pressure on the carries of the respective enemy teams. But the mid lane matchup's been really quiet. And as I say that...
It's going to get loud. There's the Pash proc even coming out, but no follow-up there. Boulder Smash backwards, and now Meet Your Bob. He's kind of been this roaming support for the team. He is going to keep running on out. There's no TP to the Shrine or anything, so he will be fine. So, yeah, it gets a little loud there for a second, but Invoker's fine.
Everyone just calm down.
Calm down. We're okay. But the last hitting-wise, as far as CS goes, it's slight lead for Magnus here. Overall,
yeah,
even though.
The Weaver's still coming out on top, which is great to see for them. An early item on Slice and Dice's Weaver could result in some really big plays. And this Rubik is in the danger zone here.
Living in the danger zone with a charge up. Nice lift at the last second, though. Beautiful timing by Flash.
Oh! Alucard's cliffed.
Wait. Oh. Yeah, you're right.
I was like, why isn't he moving to? Oh wait, he can't pat down there.
Huh.
So yeah, the Rubik grabbed him in an inopportune time, got him chucked up on the cliff. Spirit Breaker did have to hand deliver a TP to get him off of there. So putting the jug a little further behind, he lost a lot of XP there.
Oh, that was interesting to see. Yeah, Rubik making a couple of big plays here early on, as he's going to port to the bottom lane, actually. So they do want to try to protect the Slark now and really open up the farm for him, as you were mentioning earlier, as we're seeing. It is a difficult time, to say the least. But now Weaver, he's the one that has to be a little careful here. He's the one without supports. He does have Shikuchi, though, so not the easiest to gank either.
Yeah, and every extra point in that Shikuchi makes it exponentially more difficult to gank because the invis percentage uptime is so high. Once he gets to level 3 on that, it's a 50% uptime on Shikuchi, and it's just incredibly hard to deal with this. They don't have any detection that's dust right now.
Oh,
so
no.
if he gets out of that sentry range, nothing to do. What?
Meanwhile, Centaur, you know, I mean, he's just jungling, but he was about 10% life, if that, and they just happened to find him roaming on through, so just very unfortunate. But at the same time, you're facing a very greedy roam team, especially with the Spirit Breaker. You really got to make sure to have a decent amount of life in those jungles like that, so.
Yeah, and it's really hard for a Centaur to stay healthy in the jungle until that hood is done.
Yeah, vulnerable right there. Ends up dying as a result. So the 3-1 start now for Slice and Dice. And that's right. I do remember, actually, they ran a Rampage yesterday, I believe, and again, one of their games that we casted in. He was just constantly moving, so not surprised to see that here. He's just all over the map. And the Rampage, meanwhile, actually gonna skewer backwards on the Earth Spirit as Spirit Breaker goes in the background. And they will get the pick off on an Earth Spirit, so nice skewer there from Magnus.
Slice and Dice being incredibly, very, very proficient at reading the map movements from Moriarty. Moriarty? Words are hard. But either way, they kind of saw the Earth Spirit was going to be coming in. They positioned behind the tower. Mag got that skewer off incredibly quickly before Earth Spirit could kick him back into the fight, and resulting in Earth Spirit's death. Potentially another here.
Yeah, just chasing all this way. The charge with Spirit Breaker, and no 17% even needed. Gets the kill on him with ease, really. There's several kills happening in other places, by the way. Jafar did end up falling, but it came at the cost of Slark and his life, too. So not exactly sure what happened there. Obviously watching the Rubik exchange going on. But, well, the cores exchanging lives is how it really played out. Slark did get the kill first. No, Jafar got the kill first, actually.
Yeah, very, very good for the Weaver.
Endurance run.
He's going to be extremely happy with that trade.
Yeah, that's obviously beneficial for him right there, and that experience. And almost level 6 now, so that time lapse.
And if you look at the CS charts, Alucard on the Jug here is catching up extremely quickly, and the Slark is still firmly on the struggle bus. He's not finding anything, he's not comfortable in his lane, and this shows what can happen and why these heroes aren't picked up very often. If you pressure them properly, it's hard to get anything out of them.
On the Slark right here. Dark Pack going to be popped on. Here comes a turn kill with the telekinesis in the air, but the Sunstrike coming out as well. And down goes Rubik, actually, as more support comes in, obviously, with the Spirit Breaker and that Witch Doctor, or Spirit. One auto attack, gets it off. And Witch Doctor credit for the kill there. So they keep up the momentum. Invoker tried to scare them off with that Sunstrike, but not nearly enough. They just kept on going. And top lane now, actually. Up here, Centaur going at it with the Juggernaut as he's diving into the tower. The double edge comes out. Rubik being here, perhaps going to set up the turn. He has an Omni Slash, but he couldn't get it off. Good job staying away from him and also line of sight. If he's in sight there, I mean, that's a turn kill on a Centaur.
Absolutely. He was the Centaur was potentially in cast range for a short period of time, but the Jug did have to mango there to get the mana for Omni, and it looked like it took a little bit long for him to get to that point.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So Juggernaut going to have to wait to resurrect here to come back up to the top lane and get back in this game. Of course, he has that Helm of the Dominator queued up. That seems to be the traditional go-to build nowadays, even despite that slight nerf to Helm of the Dominator. But again, we've been watching a lot of these open qualifiers, so you don't want to take too much information from them. But I was having this discussion yesterday. I don't know if this is you or the Tsunami, but about the Helm of the Dominator in general, how it feels like we haven't seen a lot of it in this event specifically. So it's almost been kind of odd, because especially when it first came out, I mean, we were seeing it every game, +2 even in some cases. So
yeah, I mean, if you follow any of BSJ's guides, he'll tell you pick it up on anything that farms the safe lane. So it's still a very solid item. It still provides a lot of versatility, and the R is good. But it's just not buy on every single hero anymore. but anyone that could use it effectively when it first came out can still use it quite well. And if you think you're on the leading edge, the winning part of the game, Dom is just such a filthy item. The creep's tankiness, the extra stats it can provide, the aura if you grab a wolf can really tip the game in your favor extremely quickly.
Just love saying the name BSJ and how that triggers so many people. Stampede, he's going to be fine and running into a little bit of trouble right there as he finds Weaver, but me or Bob, he wanted to go. Obviously a little bit too far in center. Not the easiest to be taken out, so not worth that risk right there. So they'll let it be fine for now. But I mean, that's a Stampede to use simply to stay alive for Centaur. Not the longest cooldown now, already down to 70 seconds before it's back on up. But man, this roam just continuing. I mean, just look at how deep the Witch Doctor and the Spirit Breaker are. Looking for more kills here. By the way, what about Witch Doctor, especially with how aggressive they're playing, choosing not to get any Maledict. He's actually just leveling up the Voodoo Restoration instead.
Yeah, this is like the standard old build. Voodoo Restoration is just such an insane sustain, especially when coupled with Healing Ward. It kind of points to Slice and Dice wanting to group earlier and take towers faster, which I think as soon as this Dominator comes out on Jug, that'll be the game plan.
Nice combo right there, setting up yet again another Sunstrike. Talked about that earlier on today as well. Spirit Breaker also going to go down, actually. And so maybe they're overstepping their boundaries a little bit. We talked about how aggressive they're being, and so far it's kind of been working, but that's the first time we're now a 2-for-0 exchange in favor of Moriarty here. That's going to open up some more far for the Slark here.
And with the lead they had going on Slice and Dice, that's a 12 or 1300 net worth swing at 9 minutes into the game. The Weaver just felt invulnerable. He had Dragonlance, he had Time-Lapse up, and literally couldn't get the cast off with the supplemental damage off Sunstrike. So he felt like he was just fine. There was no way they were going to kill him, and with good layering on those stuns and silences, managed to pull it off. So huge kill.
That lane is pretty far pushed up though, so that's obviously getting the tower kills good, but you're now making it a little more difficult to efficiently farm that far pushed up, unless you maybe have that vision out. So gonna keep an eye on that, I'm sure. But how is this Magnus doing, by the way? He is level 10. He gets that 25 attack speed talent. So setting up for some right-click presence. He has the maxed out Shockwave and the Empower level 3, soon to be level 4. He is going the Echo Saber first on top of the Power Tread. Does that make sense to you?
It did, for sure. I'm not sure if it's as good anymore now that it's not 50 damage on the talent. It did get reworked and basically nerfed into the ground. So it's still a fine build. You can still do good damage with the Max Empower and the Echo Saber, but it's definitely not the explosive force it was.
What was the 50 damage on? That's right, they did change that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which one was it, do you remember? Was it level 15 or level 20?
I believe it was 15.
I think it was too, yeah. Instead of maybe the 12 strength? I think it might have been that. Huh. I actually didn't, I forgot about that. Glad you brought that up there. Yeah, so I guess not as impactful, but still. It's plus 12 strength, does amp that damage up, of course. And a little beefier of a target. That Empower, definitely has plenty of damage. The Echo Saber that he's going to be going here. But top lane, trying to hunt here, look for maybe the Earth Spirit or even that Slark. But Earth Spirit, he's hiding himself, and Slark still making his way back into the lane. However, he knows something might be up again with how roam heavy that they've been. He's not going to go too far. Yeah, let the creep wave come to him, basically. So bottom lane, though, Centaur, he's kind of picked up farm down here, going against the Weaver. He does have the Hood of Defiance at least finished.
Yeah, which is definitely a big pickup for him, but most of the damage coming out from Slice and Dice is absolutely in physical. You've got Omni Slash from Jug, Spirit Breaker Charge, Witch Doctor's Death Ward is physical. So very little of the actual damage coming out is magic, but he needs it to farm, he needs it to try to accelerate his item growth a little bit. But yeah, it was the 12 strength talent now for Mag at level 15. That used to be the 50 damage.
Gotcha, yeah. I was gonna say, I felt like that's what changed right there. Because yeah, I do remember seeing his talent tree in the past and just being like, damn, that's a lot. That's fun to see, but yep, taking it away, I guess, maybe a little too powerful. At least the talent.
It was pretty insane. You could turn Mag into an actual hard carry with those two talents between the attack speed and the damage.
Again, he still has that semi-carry potential, though, for sure, even with just the strength now as mentioned. Power allows for that. So the Echo Saber, it's actually finished, just needs to be delivered here. It's currently the Oblivion Staff in that stash here. Once that comes out, Helm with the Dominator on Juggernaut. How's that ready to go? I don't think he's dominated a creep yet, but...
He's probably looking for one he likes a little bit more. That Hellbear is not a bad option at all. The Smasher's sitting in the hard camp next to him. And at this point, I think the Slice and Dice is ready to go. They've got their Helm of Dom up. They've got their Weaver with Dragonlance already in the Blightstone. Magnus finishes first item. You're ready to push buildings down. Slark doesn't even have a Shadow Blade yet. 13 minutes in.
Not too good for him, but he's working on it. The Claymore, next in line to purchase, about 1,000 gold away from having that finish, so it's he's getting there, but yeah, a little bit off than maybe the timing that he would like to have it. Invoker obviously has the Hand of Midas, the point booster here, well on his way to an Ags follow-up. So Mike Fury on the Invoker. It does seem like he's doing very well. In fact, switching over to the net worth here a little later, but he is second in the game behind, sure enough, that Magnus, who obviously has the blink queued up. And yeah, I was going to mention these Ancients earlier, but look at that. He's going to take them out, and that's why he just jumps up there once again in that net worth, especially the gold that he has. 1,500 gold currently on him now, so. And then once he gets that blink, he's got kill potential really on anyone, especially with the level 2 RP. Top it all off. Oh, top lane. Slark, Darkback goes off, gets stunned, but pops a Shadow Dance here. Get some support from the Earth Spirit. They're going to lift in Alucard, and now they want to go for some kind of kill, but he obviously got the spin off, so mitigating plenty. And on the run, but can they chase far enough? He does have Omni Slash. No, he does not. He didn't have the mana for it anyways. He puts down the Healing Ward. Not enough. That mixed with the Sunstrike. They do successfully chase him down, but it's going to come at a cost, at least for Rubik. Jafar's here now on the Weaver as well. Time lapse still going to go if necessary. There's the RP. Only caught Earth Spirit, though. They wanted to catch Slark as well, but he comes up short. In the background, down goes Spear Breaker. Now Invoker trying to keep his distance, but that's hard to do against the Shikuchi'd up Weaver, but he will get away with the Ghost Walk. As now Centaur just going to hug the tower. Man, what a fight here, though. It really ends up being a 3-for-3, and we're not even done just yet. The Shrine ready to be popped. Weaver needs to get out, as he does. So it ends a 3-for-3 fight.
Yeah, that should have gone substantially better for Slice, and they had double damage on Magnus with that Echo Saber. If the RP connected a little bit better, they tear through that entire lineup, but just couldn't find a great connection on the RP, and Omni Slash never even got used. So definitely a struggle there, a little bit of a poor fight choice from Slice and Dice, but I think they're still firmly in control of this game.
Well, they're going to get another chance to prove themselves here in the middle lane. You mentioned Omni Slash not used the last fight. Well, Juggernaut, again, he has that here for now, a potential new fight taking place, but he's going to fall back, wait for another creep wave. Does have supporting cast nearby. Slark notices this, though, and Witch Doctor, he's on the run. He places down the ward as he's trying to run away. Slark wants to get that Pounce leash off. Unable to get close enough, however. And now he's the one that has to be a little bit careful. Pops the Dark Pact. Just keeping his distance. They really just, who's going to go in first? Who's going to get that jump? The Pounce obviously missing right there. He's going to get Shadow Dance, man. He's really trying to reach for this kill. Not going to happen.
He's trying. He needs to find something. He just feels so far behind. Still working on the Shadow Blade. They're going to connect with Spirit Breaker here and grab that kill, but Slark's not even going to get the assist.
Pour it out. Do they have a stun? They do. The Coconut, the Skewer forward, and the Shockwave, but the Stampede to keep the distance. And that's actually Rubik healing one right there. Is healing him up a bit. Slark, meanwhile, in the background gets the kill on a Witch Doctor, but he does go down. Staying in a little bit too long, so some interesting fights, to say the least, coming out. Omni Slash, can he get it close enough? No, he cannot, because he gets Boulder Smash, so Silence on top of that. And so Invoker will continue to stay alive, but now Earth Spirit's the one in trouble as Spirit Breaker sets up the charge and takes him out. You got the pings over.
Rubik.
They see Rubik, definitely. Obviously, they're pinging him out like crazy, and now Flash, yeah, he is going to get picked off. Double kill for Alucard, actually, on Juggernaut, so quite the strong finish for Slice and Dice there in that fight.
Yeah, those kind of fights are odd, though. They're not really what Slice and Dice wants. They don't want these scattered fights out through the jungle. They need fights right at objectives. You didn't take Maledict on Witch Doctor, which kind of hurts the pick potential in those skirmishes. Your Magnus just now picked up his Blink, so he didn't really have the repositioning he wanted from that. I think they need to be more focused on objective-based fights rather than just those weird skirmishes in the jungle.
Well, they got Slark pushing out the top lane again, still trying to finish that Shadow Blade as mentioned. Finally gets the Claymore. And no doubt that's going to help. But yeah, not having that this whole time, since you're talking about maybe what they should have been doing, I mean, that definitely would have been a safe start, having that Shadow Blade much sooner. But at least he has it now, so potentially we'll see what kind of plays he can make with that. But, I mean, the Axe Invoker does allow for a bit more teamfight presence himself.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the Slark can even do at this point to be relevant other than staying him back, waiting for the fight to start, and maybe seeing if something can work well for him. The goal to get the Shadow Blade is that you get it by 12 to 13 minutes, and then you run at Witch Doctor. And you just kill him every single fight before he can ever do anything to you. and then the fights start 4v5. But at this point, it's too little too late. He needs to try to get a couple more kills in team fights that they win without him, picking people off the back, you know, finishing them up. If he can't find that extra influx of gold, he's going to struggle to actually do anything productive in this game. Like, the Jug is way ahead of him.
Yeah, right now that net worth 7,600 for Jug. He got 5,200 for the Slark. So yeah, Juggernaut. Much better spot here. Spearbreaker sitting patiently nearby here at the top lane. He actually had it with the hand of Midas, and he's going to charge in here onto the Slark and pounce the Shadow Dance immediately. He's just really trying to play so defensive. Going for the turn kill out on Witch Doctor, but all his cooldowns are going to be running out, and with the Dark Pact, it's not going to be enough to live. They do get the turn kill onto Witch Doctor at least, but lift in the air onto Alucard. He still hasn't used that Omni Slash, man, and he won't be able to. Here, the lockdown is real as Invoker joins the party, and down goes Spearbreaker on the back end. It's a 3-for-1 exchange. You know what? Slark will continue to struggle, but hey, beautiful fight for Moriarty in the end. Invoker getting there at a prime time.
Yeah, really well played on the fight from them. The Magnetize from Earth Spirit got the kill on Witch Doctor and kind of snowballed that whole fight out of control. But again, Slice and Dice is fighting in the jungle, not fighting at objectives, and it's hurting them so badly. They're not using Omni Slash productively. They're not using Reverse Polarity. Any fight they take like that is just going to be chaotic and put them at a downside right away.
Blink Dagger for Magnus. So speaking of RP, but again, he can't even connect right there. Nice job barrel rolling away from the Earth Spirit, and I see Flash actually. He needs to try to get away, but he actually has the spin, and then he steals Shikuchi on top of that, which is actually a very nice ability to have for Rubik for moving around in the fights.
It's arguably the best easy spell steal in the game.
Yeah.
It's so much mobility. It's actually a sizable amount of damage.
Gonna use it right there to counter push somewhat, but here we go with the top tower push. But yeah, I'm with you, Slice and Dice. So where's that big RP, right? I mean, he's almost 16 now, so clearly the farm's there, and they've most certainly had their chances, but have not been able to connect with a big setup here just yet.
Yeah, and until they push and can force Moriarty to react and position themselves poorly, he'll probably never get the good RP. If you're taking fights scattered in the jungle or in a long lane like that, there's no incentive for Moriarty to group. They don't have anything they have to focus on defending or an objective to worry about. So they're not grouping up. They're doing a good job keeping space. And it's a struggle for Slice and Dice to actually find those ults how they want to use them. Because the Witch Doctor ult also hasn't been used effectively at all. Yeah. The only 2 times we've seen it this game, he's thrown it down when he's at 15% health and dying.
I wonder if something like a Glimmer Cape maybe going to be on his list of items to get here. Of course, nice because you can use that while channeling, and could be good mitigation against this this Radiant side here. Kind of a
it could definitely help if he can make it to an item.
Yeah, that's the question, right? I guess he's down there on that net worth chart, only 2,600 currently, so he is struggling with those.
It's a hard life to be a 5 in Dota.
You know, he only has 3 deaths, actually. I thought it was honestly going to be more. In fact, 2 of his teammates, Juggernaut and Spearbreaker, actually have more deaths than him, but
yeah.
overall,
the Magnus is playing a hyper-conservative game. He hasn't died at all this game, but he also hasn't been at some of these crucial teamfight losses. So a little bit of a play choice from him, and we'll see if it pays off.
Boots of Travel queued up right here. Oh yeah, middle lane. Slark is going to get caught there, so the RP used, it looks like. As, I don't know, was that Slark going in, or were they just caught Slark, it looked like?
No, they caught him. It was a blink RP skewer into the Death Ward, and Slark maybe would have gotten out there if Spirit Breaker wasn't already charging him. Charge of Darkness applies a bash when it connects, and that was enough damage to seal the deal.
Okay. So Slark, again, his struggles will continue here, and now working on an Echo Saber to help things out, but even with that, again, he's just seems like he's so vulnerable. He's kind of spamming his cooldown, especially the Shadow Dance. He's using it very early in fights. And even when he does, it feels like he's almost using it aggressively. Even in the last fight at the top lane, he's kind of going in with it rather than maybe using it to simply survive. But anyways, keep an eye on him throughout this game. As, again, the early start, though, was pretty struggle for him. But Centaur, he's beefy. He's got the Vanguard. As there's the skewer, speaking of Centaur. Going to pull him in, but as I just mentioned, he's pretty tanky targets. Not the easiest. In fact, that's going to bite them in the ass, it seems like. On the dire side, down goes that Magnus, and now we see the Nether Strike used by Meteor Bob. Only to kill Rubik, though. He gets pushed up over the ledge, however, with the pounce through from Slark. Should secure that kill. Magnetize helping to tick him down. A big one at that. So big fight here for Moriarty yet again. Again, Centaur not the prime target to be skewering in like that.
No, definitely not. Especially without Omni Slash getting used effectively there. It's how many minutes have we seen Jug just holding onto this ability and not casting it?
He has not used it this whole game, I don't think.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. It's insanely depressing that they haven't been able to coordinate and do something productive with Omni Slash and Empower. It's kind of getting frustrating. They should have been on the front foot of this whole game, setting the pace, setting the tempo, and guiding what fights they take. Instead, it's just been scattered skirmishes left and right. That was a very poor target choice, as you said. And definitely keeping Moriarty in this in a game they probably shouldn't be.
Yeah. I mean, the bot's now picked up on Invoker, another 1,500 gold already saved up, so maybe looking through the shop right here, what maybe looks tempting to get next. But this Invoker really is skyrocketing, 13,000 net worth. And Invoker most certainly a hero that can control the pace of the game and really take it over on top of that. So I think he alone is kind of doing that. Obviously, Slark, again, has kind of been a struggle. Not to really talk about that too much, but it's good. The point is, it's good that obviously a teammate, another core in that Invoker, is doing so well. On the other hand, as I say this, Slark being charged, but I don't think they're going to continue to that one. Yeah, the Magnus was coming in with the Invis ready to jump, but good job by Slark reacting.
I mean, it's a good thing the Invoker's backpack has 3 slots, because other than the Centaur, he's pretty much carrying the rest of this team right now.
Yeah. There you go. Well, he's speaking of Centaur, by the way, the Axis coming along, 3,000 gold saved up. Needs that 4,200. So that's another tool that they're going to have for when Slice and Dice commits to these fights, especially with Magnus going in. It's easy to react if you're Centaur. You activating that Stampede. Trying to save them and let alone turn them in those fights. So that's definitely going to prove to be a big item.
It's huge in the fact that if Centaur stays far enough back that he has 0 chance of getting RP'd, he can always pop it right as Mag RPs, mitigating so much of the damage, making it so Jug doesn't want to use Omni Slash even more than he already doesn't want to use Omni Slash. And really just giving him a huge edge in the team fights. That's such a good item in this game on a team like Slice and Dice's where it's all-in damage.
Magnus has that Shadow Blade and now the BKB in the works, so I mean, Shadow Blade both helping to amp his damage a little bit, but also a nice tool for initiating as well as getting out if need be. BKB is, yeah, that's going to be a pretty big item, right? Yeah, I'm kind of looking at this Radiant side, and especially with Invoker leading the way. Invoker is a lot of that magical presence, of course, so yeah, BKB makes a lot of sense here for the Magnus. Juggernaut going to Fusel Blade next, so the Manta Diffusal combo going to be coming out here. Good choice, you think?
I like it. I mean, we saw it yesterday, right? And it didn't quite do enough damage to step up to the carries. I think it's good for an early game. So if Slice and Dice feels like they could try to close this out early or really put some pressure on, I think it's fine. Otherwise, I'm a bigger fan of the Mjolnir. It's a good farming item. It's a lot more damage overall than a Diffusal is going to give you. But
oh, wow, that RP used, but he gets pushed away before he can even skewer it. Now, the Omni Slash just bounced around to it. Plenty of damage right here, go figure. And Slark is going to get picked off. No buyback for him if he wanted to. As this fight, though, are they really going to get more out of this? Yes, they definitely are. They catch Invoker actually back here. He could not escape out, and now Centaur nearby. He did have the axe with a Stampede, but not mitigating nearly enough. That's a 3 for nothing. Even with kind of an awkward initiation from Magnus right there, it still worked out beautifully.
Juggernaut prayed to the RNG gods so hard for that. The way Omni Slash is coded is you have a bounce attack, which is the Omni Slash, and then you come back into the game and auto attack them, and then you go back to being out of the game and Omni Slashing. And depending on where that cycle lies, when Slark pounces, he can get too far away from the Omni Slash and it'll just stop.
Yeah.
Instead, he hit it in the perfect timing where he went off map and kept back to Slark in the middle of the pounce. And I mean, that just put Jug in great position to clean up more people, and it actually cleared out the Slark out of that fight. That was amazing.
Well, now this bottom tower also, it's going to be pushed in heavily, an easy kill for them. So obviously going to get tier 3 out of it. So the RNG, the Dota 2 gods, coming through for them and resulting in this tier 3 tower kill and the port out for Juggernaut, where he's going to be fine. Jafar, however, on Weaver. He does have a time blast, but with that silence, unable to use it in time. Oh, he gets it off at the last second. There's a Shikuchi. They're using a Stampede. He's going the other direction. They saw him at this last second, but now they can't see him over here. They finally do as he comes out. So can he Shikuchi again, maybe? He can. His silence coming out, but he is actually going to escape for the time being. And another Shikuchi. I think he's good. Wow. That escape.
Wow, that was clutch. Him throwing the bugs back there saved his life because it stopped Centaur Blink, which would have been the catch on him. And now Magnus.
Oh, look at Slark. He's too far up and he goes down. The Slark struggle continues, man. 8 deaths for him in this game.
The other big benefit to going Diffusal Blade, it has a ton of agility on it. Oh.
I found Witch Doctor.
Yeah, a little stomp in the
Stomped
Sunstrike there. But yeah, so the agility on the Diffusal Blade is really nice when you have a mag, because Empower is based off base damage, and agility adds to your base damage. So he gets a little bit of extra damage boost with that, versus something like a Mjolnir where it's all raw damage, not actually agi stats.
I feel like this is a combo that, if we are going to see a Magnus, definitely with a Juggernaut, he's going to benefit from that so well. Meanwhile, they still, yes they do, Earth Spirit steals it. I'll tell you what, Earth Spirit's actually had a hell of a game so far too, but is this going to be enough to get away maybe? I don't think so. So he at least prevents him from getting it. You have Invoker off to the side. Oh my god, it is. The Stampede allows for that. He just walked right over the ledge. There's that Axe Stampede coming into play right there. Centaur gonna get knocked back though. Beautiful Boulder Smash on 3 heroes. Not going for the turn kill to Spirit Breaker in the face. They get the turn. And now
yeah, no RP and not enough mana for Omni Slash. They need to bail out, reset this, and start over.
Yeah, not worth chasing. So they lose the Aegis. Well played by Moriarty right there. And going back to farm. Or now push out even near the middle lane. And that's huge, because that prevents Juggernaut from getting that Aegis and a lot of tempo control for Slice and Dice, because they could have definitely pushed in that bottom with the tier 3 already dead. And the Aegis would have made it so difficult. And now they catch Weaver, actually. The time lapse is going to be popped as the Sunstrike comes through. And he is going to survive, but that looks scary for a second.
Yeah, it did. It looked very scary for a minute. Witch Doctor opting to go straight for the Ags. Not going an Aether Lens, not going a Glimmer Cape. He's just going an Aghanims. He's going to try to sit way in the back and just abuse that when the RP comes down. And if the Magnus catches 2 or 3 heroes in the RP, that's going to be a very dead team.
Wait, who's going the Ags? I'm sorry.
Witch Doctor.
Oh, Witch Doctor. Okay, that makes sense then, yeah. So that's, of course, that's one where it bounces with that Death Ward there. And as you said, setting up with an RP. Kind of try to ideally get that Wamba combo, but, I mean, as we've seen, though, in this game, and you're kind of stressing that earlier, is he really going to get these big RPs? I mean, we really have only seen one, maybe 1 2-man RP, so. But, hey, maybe I'll eat my words later.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on if Slice and Dice starts pushing buildings again. The fights that have gone absolutely best for them have been at towers where they pick the time they go. So Slice and Dice needs to quit just wandering around in the woods. Everything you do needs to be a conceited effort where you do something together as a team and not get caught as straggling people.
Yeah. And
I think they're in a position to do that. The Jug just picked up Blink Dagger. He can manipulate himself around a little bit and actually get Omni Slash off, hopefully. The 2 times he got it off, it did really well. Killed Slark twice.
Oh, yeah.
So. But the shrines are open since the tier 3 did fall, so they can clean those up for some extra gold. They're probably going to play a little more conservative until that Aegis comes back again and they get a second attempt at actually clicking it when they kill Roche. So they'll get the 2 shrines, try to sweep out the T2s, and then Slice and Dice will be in position to try to close the game out.
Slark here has an ultimate orb currently on him, and is that something we delivered to him? It is going to be the Silver Edge, so yeah, he's getting the full-on Silver Edge here. And he has a Skull Basher queued up, but the Silver Edge with the break, good item here probably.
It's not bad. It lets you win the man fight against Jug if you get in a situation where that comes up, because it disables Jug's crit. Other than that, not really super effective. It's just a decent stat stick. Gives them some extra HP, some attack speed, and the shorter invis cooldown's still a big thing on it. So.
Gonna ping out the other shrine up here as they take out the secondary tower middle lane. Alucard, the first one there. Speaking of Basher, he's going one himself, of course, but a little more farm to work with, and that with the Empower on top of that, obviously it's very, very dangerous target. But yeah, going back to the point earlier as that Roshan fight was breaking out again, if you're going to get a Magnus, it feels like Juggernaut's kind of one of the better options you can pick up to pair with him.
Yeah, it is very, very solid. An Omni Slash after RP with Empower on Juggernaut, cleaving those Omni hits is a lot of damage coming out. So one of the better combos, definitely. That and PA are probably 2 of the gold standards.
Yeah. Slark, he's hunting. He's hunting again here in the front lines. We've seen this not work out several times, but looking for that opportunity, and we're going to find it right here. The lift on a Weaver to start things out. The big clutter. Where's that RP? You know it's going to be coming at any second, it feels like. There we go. It catches at least 3 heroes, I believe. Down goes Ribbit. The cleave is real. Down goes Earth Spirit. Now we see Centaur, though. The Stampede already activated. He's running away. The BKB's being popped. Witch Doctor, the only one picked off on the dire side. They do pick off Invoker. Actually over here, able to run him down. It looks like Jafar on that Weaver. And a 3-for-1 exchange, which Dr. back up very quickly due to that minus 40-second respawn time talent. Almost as if he didn't even die right there. But yeah, a matter of time before that RP came out, it did, and that cleave was real.
And Stampede was even running during that RP in the initiation, and they were still able just to shred through Moriarty.
Yeah, here comes the push into the base. No buyback on the supporting cast. Skewer on away as the ice path is put down. Nice hoof stomp there on the Spear Breaker as soon as he falls. So that's a quick kill. The gem's down, actually. They're pinging it. It's going to be picked up by Centaur. So that's a nice
and that'll
gem
signal
steal.
the retreat. They got a pick off there. Moriarty holding the base. It didn't really cost too much. It was the buyback on Invoker, which does set him back a little bit, but Invoker is large at this point. There's not a ton of growth that he was going to get to soon, so not the worst buyback in the world. But they do lose the tier 3 in the end. That's 2 exposed barracks now. So one big team fight could mean the end of this game.
Yeah. Definitely slice and dice setting up for a big push post-fight, of course. So yeah, going to reset, get the RP ready to go again, and going to say is he maybe even going to be working on something like a refresher here, but no, he's going to be going a Orchid, actually. Is Magnus, that is, as far as his next option. So you like that over maybe a double ulti chance?
Ought to take care of this thin one.
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's both viable, but
I guess jumping Invoker and silencing him is a nice tool from the Orchid.
yeah.
Here.
And it's one of those things that you pick that item up because it's easy. It flows very well, and it has an insane build path. You can go very late game with that because you have the Bloodthorn potential later on.
Quick kill right there on a flash playing that Rubik. But here we go with Magnus looking to open on to Invoker. Doesn't have that Orchid just yet as mentioning, but
he doesn't really want to go right now. He's just kind of scouting things out. If he sees the Earth Spirit, maybe Mag commits a couple buttons for him. But at this point, you just want map control. You want to know where everyone on Moriarty is standing. You want to make sure you control the Roche Pit, and you know you're in a point to close this game out if everything goes well.
Slark, he's going to TP away in time. It is successful. Sitting in that Shadow Dance, so good escape on his part.
If the Slark didn't have a Nightmare opening to this game, could be a huge factor. There's only RP and Skewer, basically, to stop from TPing away like that when he just ults and TPs. And it could have been absolutely huge in this game, but he just never got to the point where his items matter. Sitting on Silver Edge and Echo Saber 35 minutes into this game.
Feels pretty weak.
Extremely.
Kind of is. And you see here on the chart right there in the net worth, obviously he's, what is that, 6th in the game right now, just about almost 13,000 net worth. So yeah, struggling, trying to make a bit of a comeback, but a lot easier said than done situation. Invoker, though, he's continued to be the shining star. Safe to say here for the Radiant team as top laner Spirit jumping on into Juggernaut, but gets a spin off before any follow-up initiation can happen, and he will be fine. This Weaver, I haven't really looked at him a lot lately, but oh my god, his inventory got stacked. He has a Hurricane Pike, a Linken's, that Desolator, the Manta, and it looks like he has an Agza even queued up here.
Yeah, and going the no boots Weaver build, much to the chagrin of anyone watching who's suffered through that in a pub game, but there's a time and place, and this isn't a bad game for it. But once he picks up this Ags, it's going to be amazing. The Jug can basically just go stand there and hit towers and never fear dying, as long as Weaver's in range to time-lapse him back.
God, that makes it a 16-second cooldown as well. Jeez. Yeah, sometimes you kind of look at these Axe effects and think to yourself, damn, why don't we see that more? That seems really strong.
Again, that's the entire reason Support Weaver exists. Once he gets the Aghanims, it's one of the best supports in the game.
Yeah. In this case, it's a carry Weaver, but still liking that option, again, to save the Juggernaut right here as this roam coming out. They're going to be spotted, though. Alucard just jumps in freely, but he's going to get turned on pretty quickly. Already dropping a half-life, getting the Omni Slash off. He's being locked down. The Disarm coming out, but he's staying alive. Big Carbine coming out as well to lock him down. Double kill already for Jafar, making a triple kill for the team as they pick off Slark as well. The Omni Slash now bouncing around, and they catch Centaur. The gem goes down. Juggernaut not only survives, but the whole team does. Invoker is going to be able to make it out, despite Spirit Breaker charging on in. There's a buyback on a Centaur, but yeah.
That was almost amazing. If they dropped the Juggernaut there, Rubik stole the RP and got a 3-man RP off.
Oh. Okay.
It was just too little too late. Omni Slash was already running at that point and just ripped through Moriarty. It was so close to swinging the other way, but they just couldn't quite kill the Juggernaut.
Yeah. That was definitely a big chance for them to make a big play right there, but they are unable to. Weaver will split up with the Manta style. He still has that time lapse. Going in on a Slark who just evaporates right there. And that's a GG call by the Centaur. He's done. He just leaves the game, and maybe a little bit of frustration coming through, but Moriarty, again, being this best of one format, it could be tough sometimes. And they kind of feel that right there, so. Slice and Dice, though, they keep momentum again. A team that got to the semifinals of the previous qualifiers. They're keeping hope alive here as they move on to, I believe, what's in the round of 32 at this point.
I believe so.
Congratulations to them, but it wasn't easy. Definitely wasn't an easy victory here compared to a previous ones.
We've been pretty happy in getting a couple good games.
Yeah.
Usually the open day ones are a little rough, but there's been some decent teams pitting off against each other early on in this. Been good to see.
That there have been. Well, guys, we are going to once again take another short break. Promise we'll be pretty short here, but we'll be coming right back. Find another match here, get things set up. Let us know if there's a match that you want us to jump into. Feel free to do so, and we will take a look. But, guys, short break coming at you. Jump into another match. Stay tuned to the Kiev Major Open Qualifiers here on the Beyond the Summit. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Z-Rock. Another game coming up next year. Stay tuned.